Man, Bedford basketball.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
my man Sleep used to go to Bedford.
Yes, sir.
We got the coach from Bedford basketball here. What's your name, sir?
Anthony Halls.
Mr. Anthony Halls, how are you?
Good, man.
How's everything going?
Good.
All right.
Getting ready for the season.
Okay. Good. So how long have you been at Bedford coaching the basketball program?
Overall, I believe it's 6 years. I'm going into my 4th year as varsity coach.
Okay. What are some things, and I've been asking every coaches this question, what are some things in particular that you look for when recruiting or going to get like a kid for your program? What are some of the main characteristics that they have to have?
Well, I think my last year's team kind of epitomized it, where they were selfless. They wanted success for everybody on the team.
Yep.
You know, things got bad, they helped each other. They didn't down each other. And they really always want kids to kind of come together and play. It sounds corny, but
No,
I think
no corniness in that.
I think what happens when you have kids that play for each other,
Yep.
I think you can have long-term success that way. We have a bunch of individuals. I think sometimes that hurts the program.
Yeah.
Long-term, but those guys really, set the standard or continue the standard for what we want to be, moving forward.
Right. So I had Kenneth Booby Jackson over here, and I was talking to him. He's an AAU coach, and he was saying one of the biggest things that he looks out for is how the parents are with the kids, because they want to be sidelined and coaching and stuff like that. So, have you ever had to turn away an amazing talent from a kid or off your program because you felt like you maybe didn't want to deal with the type of parent that they had, unfortunately?
Well, at our school, there's not really a lot of recruiting going on, so the kids that are kind of there.
Okay.
But to your point, a lot of times, with parents, sometimes you have to understand. I tell my kids this is what I tell them. I said, it's my job to tell you the truth. It's your parents' job to lie to you. So sometimes you have to be honest. Kids like honesty. And the one thing that they can see through is if you're lying to them, if you're not telling them the truth, they actually want you to be, they want to be coached.
Yep.
And sometimes, parents can get in the way of that because they think their kid should be this, especially if you're losing. Like if you're winning, it masks a lot of things. But a lot of times, if you're able to talk to the kid and talk to him one-on-one, a lot of times they get it. And sometimes it's the parents that kind of get in the way of the relationship you can build with your kids.
Absolutely. Biggest coaching influences, if you could go back to when you were a player, from maybe your middle school, however many, just talk about like who are some of the biggest, and it doesn't have to be people that coach you, it could just be people you see in general. So what have some of been your biggest like coaching influences or inspirations?
So I've been coaching for a little while now. So the guy that brought me in, Ryan Killian, he passed away a few years ago, but he brought me in and gave me my first coaching job.
Yep.
Way back, at Concord Academy. The other coach I've kind of watched over the years, Lance Doughton from Cambridge,
Staunton, OG, yes,
and Johnny Williams. So those guys have, been. They've been mentors for me. Maybe they don't know it, but I paid a lot of attention to what they've done in the past, and just kind of, you try to take stuff from coaches that have done something, that have done something. But those guys have helped me, have talked to me.
Those are two of the greatest.
That have helped me. So I think
those are two of the greatest.
And again, hopefully I can help somebody down the road, and maybe one of my assistants moved away. He got another job, down in South Carolina. So
nice.
Hoping, if I bring guys in, they can go do something else. Because I think that sometimes you just got to grow. You got to grow yourself as far as learning and adding some things as a coach, and because if you're not taking from somebody else, then maybe you're not growing as a coach, or even as a player. You can take something from someone else and try to make that fit into your game if possible. But yeah.
What do you think of events like this, like the Coaches Classic, where you're bringing so many coaches from different backgrounds, different minds?
Yeah.
Do we need more of these kind of events? Like, what is your thoughts on?
I think I think it does help. I think it's maybe it exposes some programs, maybe it exposes some coaches that may otherwise not be exposed to get, or maybe I don't know a lot of people in and around the city as far as a bunch of coaches go. I know enough, but maybe it exposes the brand as to how you're playing. Maybe there are kids that maybe they don't want to stay in the city. Maybe they want to go to Metco.
Right.
But there's a lot of schools around here that are competitive. You don't have to go 30 or 40 minutes away from home, right? So that's the balance that you have to have. But, I think overall, it's always good to get exposure no matter what it is. But I think programs like this allows you to learn. Just like, we're listening to Lamar and they're just kind of getting some, you said a lot, but there's one or two things that you can take that you can incorporate right away. And those are the things that help make a difference. That little play, that out of bounds play can maybe win you a game. And those are the things that you got to try to take in order to try to be successful, long term.
How do you feel about your season coming up?
Well, we graduated 8, so we're gonna be old and young at the same time.
Okay.
Where we have guys coming back, but now guys are going to be elevated into positions that they haven't been before. So we'll see how it goes. We have another month. I told them they better get in shape before they come see me. Otherwise, I put trash cans around the gym because guys are going to be falling out. But yeah, like I said, we should be competitive. Again, you're always hoping that guys can elevate their games, that guys improve, and then we'll see where we go from there.
How do you find a balance between being too tough as a coach and not being too soft as a coach? How do you balance that out?
So I think for me, I was too tough early on.
Okay.
And I think I recognize that because sometimes you can be, right? You think you have to be this hard-nosed guy. You gotta yell or do all these different things in order to get your point across. And sometimes you don't. I've learned to try to pick my spots where I go off, because I think sometimes if you do it too much, it's just they're teenagers, right? So it's in one ear and out the other.
Yep.
So
you lose them.
So sometimes I'll tell my coaches, I'll say, hey, look, I'm gonna blow this kid up right now just because, and I'll go talk to the kid after and let him know. But sometimes you just you don't want any complacency, so sometimes you just have to do some things in order to motivate them a little bit. But I think I've adjusted that from early on. I think early on I was probably more of that kind of guy. Where now, like, I'm not gonna say that I'm mellow. Like on the sidelines, I go nuts. But my kids, they like that, because I asked them. I said, does this bother you? Like I'm this way on the sideline? They're like, no, we love it, because that lets us know you're in tune to the game. And you're not just letting us go. So I said, okay, cool.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
But I try to communicate as best as I can. I can't communicate everything because just sometimes, sometimes I don't need to.
Right.
But I try to communicate as best as I can and give them information, in real time. Sometimes I have to wait till after game, maybe the next practice, because if you lose a game and it's a tough one, you don't necessarily want to have that conversation right away. But that's how I try to maintain the balance. This, again, going in with a younger team, you have to have more patience, because that's just what it calls for, at this stage. But you have an older team, you can't let them be complacent. You got to get on them. You see one little thing, you don't want that to get out of control. So you just have to figure. You got to be honest with yourself and know what your team is, and then adjust accordingly.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Coach, thank you,
All right.
man. I know you got to run, man.
Thank you,
I
man.
appreciate you
it.
for sitting down talking.
No problem,
and
man.
wishing Bedford basketball the best of luck.
I appreciate you, man.
This
Thank you,
season.
man.
Absolutely.
Have a good day.
Absolutely. No problem at all.
Right.